welcome back to the channel. We have a special guest here. Was feature nie vir hom nie, hy's maar net hier. He's just here. So guys, we are trying to, I don't want to say make a comeback, but I guess it is what it is. But life happens. There's always a reason for stuff to be on the back burner, but stuff has cleared up now. I'm finally done studying. So now we have more time to do this. For what Imran is,
I'm also finally back.
Okay. He's also back. Susa, you guys heard it from Imran. But there's a different reason we're here today. We're featuring an amazing car. I don't want to give it away. You guys probably saw in the cinematics, and you're gonna see throughout this video. We're coming back with a bang. That's always in my mind when we're gone for long. We need to make kind of a statement when we come back.
Yeah, so all I can say.
Okay.
You can see the. That's about the beams.
Okay.
So all I can say, I was surprised with you.
How you doing? So, guys, just enjoy this video. We're back. The content is slowly gonna start becoming more consistent. So click man, like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the usual.
And the other thing is gonna start coming very
consistent.
consistent. The other thing. That is the surprise. I surprise.
But let's first enjoy this dual Beams Swapped Lotus 7. Uncle Mark is a crazy man, so shout out to him. So away.
But it's a bit of a long story, but yeah. So I also didn't originally think about putting a beams in the car. When I bought it, it was basically just the frame and wheels, no bodywork. It had a Kent motor and gearbox in that was barely running. And I thought, well, if we're going to rebuild the Kent motor, then I'm not going to leave it standard. And if you modify it, it still maybe makes like, I don't know, 88 kilowatts or something maximum if you spend a fortune on it. And so I decided, no, I don't want to go that route. I want something that's a bit more power than that. So I actually paid a guy a deposit for a 4AGE 1600 turbo motor and 21R box and everything. And then he was going to take it out of his car and freshen it up and then dyno it for pump fuel. But the problem was, on pump fuel it was only going to make like 170 odd kilowatts, and I didn't want a car that has to run on ethanol and thing mix, because it's a hassle. You can't just fill it up. But anyway, when he was dynoing it, something packed up on the management, and then he said, no, look, he doesn't want to sell it anymore. Do I mind if you just give my deposit back? But in the meantime, I sold the Kent motor and gearbox already. So I was looking at different options. I looked at rotaries, but they're flipping expensive. At the time when I built the car, this motor and box, the J160 box, I think it was like 22 and a half. But then you still need throttles and adapter plates, and
It's double that now.
yeah, no, they've gone silly, but that's because the rand is not very strong. Yeah, so that's how we got onto the beams. I just did a bit of research, and because, as you know, there isn't any cars in South Africa that come standard with this motor, so they're all imported. And that's how we got to what you see here. Okay, so this is what you get. You get people taking pictures, videos, hooting, waving, stopping you in the road, asking if they can take pictures of the car, of you in the car, of them. You take pictures of them in the car.
With you in the
Well,
car.
you just, so it's not a good car if you want to be like low profile and you don't want people to notice you. And yeah, Cape Town knows about Beams.
Yes.
So, you know, people see it and then they're like, Beams. So yeah, it's not so unknown here.
Yes, and there's like this big cult following.
Absolutely.
For Beams. And when you built the car, did you?
I didn't. No. I actually didn't know that there was this cult following for Beams when I decided to use that motor. It was a surprise to me.
So maybe
But I'm learning.
Yes,
I'm learning.
That's important. Let's just maybe dive into some more nitty-gritty stuff. Can you maybe just run us through the actual setup? We can touch on motor, suspension, stuff like that.
Okay, so the motor is stock standard. It runs a Dictator Beams management. It's got blacktop 45mm throttles, and that was mainly for the sound, and also fitting it all in here, which it doesn't really fit, as you can see. If it was a unlimited budget build, I would have put a dry sump on it, and then it would have been lower in the chassis, and I probably could have fitted it in. But I don't care. I like it because it's different, and I built it the way I wanted. Everybody said, no, you can't put a 76mm exhaust because it's not going to work, and this and that. And I said, I'm not building it like a racing car. I want to build it how I want it. The car was my 50th birthday present to myself. So I made it how I wanted it to be. And yeah, the suspension has got what are they, specs, coil over, shocks on all four corners, adjustable. It's very straightforward. It's got a solid axle at the back with a Ford Escort diff, open diff. And everybody said, yeah, the diff's not going to work. It won't handle the power. You must put in a M75 diff. And I said, well, I've got the diff. The car came with this diff. So if it breaks, then I'll look at putting a different diff in. Why am I going to go waste money and spend money that I don't need to? So it's lasted like 4,000 Ks already. And yeah, limited slip diff would be nice. I could lock it, but then the handling would be terrible. It won't turn. So you know what? I didn't build it as a race car. I built it as a fun thing. You can take it on a track day if you want to. I've done 2 track days with it. It's flipping quick.
And it obviously sounds amazing.
You can't actually explain the sound. I mean, it sounds amazing. Yeah, that's putting it mildly. But yeah, the car is nothing special, but it adds up when you start building these things. I don't think you'll get much change now out of 150 grand if you had to build this from scratch. It's not a cheap thing to do, but you can do it a lot cheaper than this. But I wanted things like 13-inch wheels with 235 tires on, and this Vitor was the only tire that you could get in a 235 for the back and a 215 for the front.
Are you sure you don't need semis at the back?
Once again, it's like, how fast do you want to go? It goes ridiculously fast already. You're just going to go to jail for longer if you make it faster.
And what I'm getting is you're not the type of person to look or create a problem that's not needed or that's not there. You just want to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's about enjoying the car. It's things like the windscreen. I didn't want a windscreen. I still wanted to build like an aero screen, maybe a Lexan about this high, just to deflect air a bit. But if I'm going on a long drive and I'm going to drive fast, then I wear a helmet anyway. So otherwise I just use goggles. If you don't use goggles, you can't see anything. Even with glasses, it doesn't work. You can't. As soon as you go over about 80 k's an hour, your eyes just go like all wobbly and you can't see anything. It's got a removable steering wheel, but not because of safety or security. Actually, just because that extra length was perfect for me. The seat doesn't adjust. I put it in the right position for me. But with this, it just brought it back enough to be perfect position. And I suppose, yeah, it's a good security thing if you do park it somewhere.
Because obviously it is open.
Exactly. But yeah, luckily I haven't had any hassles with it. I do use it in the week sometimes, not only on the weekends. But it's not the ideal car to use as a daily driver. Yeah. But yeah, we've been away on long trips with it. Put the bag underneath here in the back, shoved in there with all the clothes and things.
I mean, if you're smart, you would go grocery shopping with this because you can't fit a lot of groceries in there.
Well, you could probably still fit about 2 grand's worth of groceries because that's only about 2 packets nowadays. But yeah, you can't fit a lot in, that's for sure.
If you could describe this in I don't want to say one word. Okay, let's do this. You can describe it in one word, go for it, and afterwards describe it in one sentence.
So one word, it would be, it's ideal. It's ideal because it came out exactly as I hoped it would. So it's ideal for me. It might not be everyone's taste. It might not be what everybody else wants. There's lots of things like when I wear a helmet and people say, oh, the roll bar is not high enough. You know what, it's better than no roll bar. And it works for me. Like I said, I didn't build a race car. I built it how I wanted it to be. And I'm very happy with how it's turned out. In fact, it's turned out way better than I thought it would. It's ideal, definitely.
And if you can describe it in one sentence, what would that sentence be?
Yo, that's difficult. But I don't know. It's very difficult to try and describe it in a sentence, except to say that it's like a weapon, really. It's almost faster as a super bike, but you can literally drive it. It's got a 6-speed gearbox. I don't use first gear at all. First gear is too short, so I use second to sixth, and I can drive 40 k's an hour in 6th gear. It's got 250 newton meters of torque, and it weighs less than 600 kilos. So I can literally drive it in 6th gear at 40 k's an hour, and it's very comfortable when you drive it slowly like that. So yeah, it does everything. Everything that I needed to do, yeah, definitely.
I think by the end of this video, and like you said, you're learning about the whole cult following of by the end of the video, if we can get you to say Koala Beams, then my mission here is accomplished. But we'll do that at the end.
Okay, we'll do that at the end, yeah. No worries. couldn't tell you exactly how long. I started it in 2020 when it was lockdown.
It was like a COVID lockdown build.
Yeah. I actually bought it during COVID lockdown, or maybe just after the lockdown, the first lockdown. I can't remember. My brain has blotted out all those bad times. But so yeah, the build, a lot of the fabrication and engineering work I had done by Duplex. They in Blackheath. Etienne Duplessis and his dad Jan, they build race cars, so they can fabricate anything. You know, like to build things like this, like these brackets and stuff. It's not just to bend pipes and build, it's to design the shape that it needs to be, to decide what the right material is for it. You know, everything, it looks simple, but even to just make something like that bracket, if you don't have all the equipment and all the experience, it's a major job. In fact, it's not even possible to do it if you don't know how to do it. People always say, no, it's easy. It's only easy if you know how, and I don't know how. So I don't have like all the welding equipment and things. So a lot of the fabrication, like building the pedal box inside, which you can't really see, that was all fabricated. The suspension was on the car, but we had to move the front rack so that it didn't have bump steer because it wasn't mounted in the right position. And a lot of this stuff, luckily, they know. I know about it, but I wouldn't know how to put it in what position it needs to be in to make it right.
Make it function.
Yeah. So the aluminium skin, they did as well. Jan did, and things like the fuel tank, it actually had, and everybody said, "No, the fuel tank's too big," which it is. It's massive. I think it takes like 55 liters or something. But it's also nice if you want to go on a long trip. You don't have to stop every 100 k's to put fuel in. So that was a bonus actually, having such a big tank. The fiberglass bodywork I got with the help of Nigel Bates. He's part of the Lotus group, and he is extremely helpful. If anybody is wanting to get into a car like this, I would say he's the kind of guy to speak to, because he knows everybody and he knows all the cars that are available, and he's a very helpful guy. He knows all the guys that build the parts and all of that. So things like this, you can see the width of this. This is not a standard. A standard one probably comes to about here. But for what I wanted, it's a perfect size. But to find something like this, yeah, it's like who's going to have one of these lying around? But you will know who's got it, you know. And these cars also, they're not factory built chassis, so they're not all the same. This one is wider than a normal one. I think it's a bit longer than a normal one, but at least I can fit in it nicely. I mean, I take like a size 12 shoe and I can drive it with my shoes on, no problem. Some of these cars, literally, my feet would press the brake and accelerator at the same time. So they're pointless to drive. No, they like, those guys have to ride with bare feet, you know, with socks on or with racing boots and things. In my car, I can just jump in and drive it with normal shoes. So yeah. What else can I tell you? It's a pretty simple design. It's square tubing mainly. Does have round tubing to triangulate it, but nothing special. We had to actually cut out some tubing to fit the Beams motor in, because I think you can imagine a Kent motor is a lot smaller than that. So that was something we had to. But even with that, it's a lot more reinforced than some of the other cars that I've seen. So I was happy about that, and I was happy that it had enough strength to handle the power of a Beams versus like a Kent motor or even a 20 valve. I think 20 valves make like 120 kilowatts or something.
Speaking about power,
yeah.
What power are you pushing?
Well, it's standard, as I said. It's got a standard exhaust manifold which goes into 2 and then into 1. It's making 160 kilowatts and 250 newtons of torque, and we rev it to 7,800. Which is not a lot for Beams. It could probably make more power if we rev it more, and also obviously if we modify it, it will make a lot more power.
It's still probably like a rev 8 or 8.2 or something.
Yeah. I changed it to 7.8 because I think it was at like 7, which was ridiculous because it gets to the limiter so quickly. Yeah, so basically it's a standard motor, nothing fancy. And yeah, it's got standard brakes, standard Escort brakes with standard pads. But I mean, it doesn't have discs at the back, it's got drum brakes at the back. But if you brake hard, it'll lock the wheels easily. So if it can lock the wheels, you don't need more braking power than that. I had to fit a valve to adjust between the brake bias between the front and the rear, because otherwise it would lock the rears. There's no weight at the back, obviously, so it would lock the rears very easily. It's got a hydraulic handbrake as well, which just happened to be easier to incorporate that than to use some other type of handbrake system. So that can lock the back wheels very easily.
Like the more you're explaining, the more I can see how it's actually very, very simple.
It is very simple, but everything you do is a custom.
Yes.
It's custom fabrication. So there's nothing on this car that is, or the fabricated parts. There's nothing that is standard that you can just buy. I mean, obviously you can buy hydraulic handbrake, you can buy second-hand Escort suspension parts, but the wishbones are fabricated. We changed the front springs. The springs that were in there were wrong for the car. I managed to get some from a guy who races stock cars. We actually swapped him some springs. Yeah, what else can I tell you? It's got a fire extinguisher because kit car.
Yes.
And you never know if you need it or not, and I don't want it to burn. It is insured though, so at least that wouldn't be too sad.
I feel like the only thing else to do now is to just experience this thing.
I agree. We've been standing around long enough talking about it. We should drive it.
Yeah, we should maybe jump in.
Let the people see what it's like.
Let
the car speak for itself.
Let the whole Beams cult come gather here.
Absolutely. Yes. This is what you get. You get people taking pictures, videos, hooting, waving, stopping you in the road, asking if they can take pictures of the car, of you in the car, of them. You take pictures of them in the car.
With you in the car.
So it's not a good car if you want to be like low profile and you don't want people to notice you.
On one condition, we must get you in the video. And then we're going to put you on the TV.
Okay. No, it's fine, Fabi. Yo, what kind of a car is this one?
It's a Lotus 7.
Huh?
Lotus 7.
No.
Yep. Very fast. It's pretty fast.
This is very fast and it's too small. Very big.
So what did you say, ma'am? What did you want?
I want just said you. And then what is this for? I mean, it's a car, ne? I see it's a car.
Yeah,
For rentals.
for the road. For driving.
It's a car for enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's a sport car.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just to have some fun. You know, on a weekend, like on a day like this,
Yeah.
it's for exactly that.
Oh, and then what is this one?
That's the air filter. It's carbon fiber.
Why is it outside?
Because there's no space.
So guys, that was the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do enjoy it, please like, comment, subscribe. If you did enjoy it, please like, comment, subscribe. Ja, ons weet die meer nie. Ons weet nie. Ons was lanklaas hier doen ouens. It's been a while, but we are back.
A word from Umran.
A word from Ran, please.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, testing. So guys, all I can say, we are back. We are in a hideout for very long. Yeah, hideout, yeah. So all I can say is, as everyone saw that I sold my car, so it's not sold. It's in a hideout, and it's coming out the 6th of January when I come back.
It was scary, man, to say that.
Yeah, it was scary, man. So all I can say is this is not gonna be the next series. Is not gonna be a Beams in a Boxy. It's gonna be a multiple series. It's a Beam series. So it's gonna carry on for a whole year. So that's the thing. And that's the thing.
Words of Lee Adams.
And yeah, it's all I don't want to say anything further, but kind of secrets I say, not yet.